Hello everyone, and this is SeReNiiTYzZ here, back with another awesome Fortnite Battle Royale gameplay today. This time today, guys, another solo gameplay today in which I was using the new Panda team leader skin, the legendary skin, and as you can see, Panda there looking to make an appearance, and a very nice solo game, a very comfortable win. I've had some really nice moments in this skin actually. There's a couple more moments I'd like to bring out, another gameplay that was really good as well, but this one today a really solid game. And going to the factory area nearby Pandaenityzz Lodge again, just happened to be this area again, so really nice gameplay to get, good amount of kills throughout. There was the kills were all pretty spaced out, and in the final 1v1 as well, have a really good face off with quite a smart player as well, so definitely a lot of goodness in this one. I'm really looking forward to commentating it 'cause it's quite an amusing gameplay, and yeah, just upping the ante with the solo at the moment whilst my mic's broken. But yeah, I've really been enjoying it actually. Some really nice games on Fortnite recently, and Panda here did not disappoint on her debut. Really nice gameplay, and I hope you guys enjoy. A lot of funny things to commentate throughout. So at the beginning, guys, I decided to go for this chest on top. I always have a look, try to get a bit of height when I come over the factory area, just have a look in there. And as you can see, someone is already aware of my presence, so Pandaenityzz is just going to move back a little bit. She didn't like those burst shots coming in, but it definitely intimidated my Panda, and the bamboo and everything. The Panda's like, God, can I get more food supply, or is it safe? And but yeah, that was a bit scary for a moment. At this point here, getting the green goblin gas, so Panda can try and play as green goblin. And at this point here, guys, I was just thinking I'm going to get up high quickly, because obviously there's another guy in the factory, at least one other player here. So at this point here, I just use a metal wall to build off, protect myself as I mine for more wood, so I can get around and make sure I try and find this guy, to be honest, because obviously a bit of a threat and quite an alert player from the fact that spotted me straight away at the beginning, so I have to be a bit careful of that. At this point here, I hear grenades going off by the pylon. I think that there's a fight there, and get shot from behind. I think that's my guy in the factory. So just to prolong things, I'm a bit annoyed that he got that shot off, because that took off quite a lot of my health. I had 150, and sort of now just having 87, so that was not ideal. It's a bit unfortunate for me there, but yeah, I just have to be careful now. So at this point I'm being a bit more passive, and holding my gas still at the moment, because I'm hoping to use that to my advantage, because I'm a little bit weaker in the fight, and if I can try and throw it at him first before engaging in a gunfight, that'd be useful. So at this point I hear him coming with game sound, and I manage to get some health off from the gas and get a really nice headshot onto him, and that takes out that drift player there, Joe Payne 10. See you, mate. Sorry, but I'll have that gold burst of yours now, and all the heals that you may have neglected to use, because he seemed to go down pretty quickly. It's like he didn't equip his shields until he wanted to be sure that he'd take me out. So a little bit of a bold one there. That was a mistake on his part for definite. Should have been using those shields, but at this point here I get his gold burst as well, so I was very happy to the start of this game. Bring that to the front, leave the white AR behind. And I do have a particular code with Fortnite Battle Royale in terms of weapons that I drop for others. So, later on in the game, I would drop a gold burst for a blue assault rifle or something greater, like a Scar or Gold Scar. But yeah, definitely at this stage, a gold burst is a really nice addition, and an SMG. But funny enough, in the factory area as well, you'll notice my materials are pretty well stacked now. I think it's because that guy may have found a llama nearby, because if you notice, it's very much like the material you would have after getting a llama. So he even got a llama for me. Bless that little chap. But my first kill of the game is pretty worth killing. It's lucky for me that he obviously found a llama, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. The only thing I don't have going for me at the moment is a shotty. Really nice to find a campfire on his body in the beginning. So in terms of heals, he had a lot of goodness, of which I'm going to take with me. And at this point here, I'm not deciding to use my campfire, because I have 87 health. So I figured, Campfires heal about roughly 50 HP, so for me I just kind of want to hang on to it at the moment because I'm not feeling in threat of my life, and you know, if things get bad I might use it at that point there. So I decided to hang on to it. Obviously if I get another one I'm probably going to use a campfire to recover that little bit of health, because sometimes 10 health can be a game changer. So at this point here, just hovering over Tomato, I tend to do that, or you know, sometimes go for the rifts to sort of dive into the heart of battle. So at this point here I was just looking over Tomato to see if there's any players for me to kill, also trying to get some extra loot, because generally you know, a shotty will be left behind somewhere, even if a place is looted, because the player might have a better one. So luckily for me I did find a green pump on the bridge here in an unlooted chest, and at this point here it's really nice to find some more smalls. That's really handy. I decided to take the Poor Fort with me at this point just because you know, just as maybe a distraction or something like that. But to be honest with you, I may have even traded it for the hunting rifle. I'm not a great fan of Poor Forts really. Don't really use them, so you know, I think it was interchangeable there. I could have perhaps taken the hunting rifle with me instead. It wouldn't have really mattered, but at this point here, you know, nice to still have the gold burst. I think it's still decent at this section of the game. Obviously, if build structures, it's not as useful as something like a Scar or, you know, a blue assault rifle. So, as I said, you know, that would be my code. If I found one of those things, I would drop it for that. At this point here, I think I spied a shield pot earlier on from the bridge, and decided to change that with my Portal Fort, which I think was a nice play. The Portal Forts, yeah, not really, you know, that bothered about Poor Fort, because I think the fact is, once you deploy one, you know, sometimes it can give you an edge. It depends on the situation, but I tend to find that once it's done, you know, that's it. You know, and generally people fire upon them as much as they can, so it's not the greatest thing. I mean, when they first came out, a lot of people were like, oh, you know, it's great, but I think now it just gets sort of ignored and neglected. Really, it's not something. I don't think late game as much is that great to have, but yeah, it's just my opinion. So at that point, yeah, the better play to get the shield pot. And here, got a player that's mining materials, so I'm like, okay, he's gonna have some more wood for me. That would be nice. Not the best burst shots from me there, actually. That should have been a little bit more clear cut. Like, really nice pump shot onto him here. And I really like how I played this. Obviously, you can see the guy's building because he knows he's down in this fight at the moment. And I really like the plays that I did, but as soon as I hit that pump shot and saw that he started to build, I should have been building a bit more as well. This kind of situation is an aspect of my game where I do like to improve. I'm not the kind of player in Fortnite that I've always got to have the height advantage. I do like to sort of just rely on a bit more on gun skill to try and win the fight. I find building for every shot that you might take damage for is a very... you know, obviously it's a good way to play because it's preventing yourself from taking any damage, but I just find it a bit boring to play like that. So, you know, if a player is trying to get the height on me, I will try to get it over them as well. But I'm not the sort of player that I have to have height to be able to take a shot. I try and end the battle quickly if I can. And luckily for me, John Wick got confused there with his building for a moment, and eventually I was able to get him and take him down. And sometimes if you are accurate with your shots, you don't have to really continue with the building. If you get that one moment to take that guy down, that's good. And another reason I'm not a fan of, you know, making build fights last a long time is because a lot of, you know, if you're ninja you can handle it, but if you know, you're going to get a lot of other players come, and eventually after that fight there's a guy with a sniper there who's trying to take shots, and he was pretty accurate. He was close to hitting me, so I was like, okay, I just want well away from this really, because he's on the hill as well. And you know, really good performance in that fight. But like I say, definitely with the building aspect in occasions, you know, I probably should go for the height more, but and I do, when a player tries to get the height over me, I will try to seize that high ground, but I don't always, you know, keep building as soon as, you know, it's a possibility of, you know, I'm going to build on every single shot. I'm not that kind of player on Fortnite. I just don't like playing like that, but you know, obviously I understand the wisdoms for doing so. It's just not, I don't find it as fun to play like that. But at this point here, I managed to hear a guy from Game Sound that was coming into the building, some nice burst shots onto him. At this point here, a reason that he's fairly weak, so I can go down and kill him, because I really don't want a guy underneath me just chilling. And at this point here, that you can see he's not the smartest of players. Wasn't sort of aware where he was getting shot from, and pretty slow to react there, so it was a pretty easy kill. But Yeah, definitely the players coming at, you know, sort of in the latter part of the game more experienced than this guy, but really nice to get a blue AR off him. Like I said, that would be the one weapon, probably, and then, you know, everything above that, a scar and a gold scar, would definitely be the weapons I would change for a gold burst. And I think that the blue AR at this stage is more valuable because it's going to be more about this, you know, destroying structures now, and a burst is not as good in that regard. You know, I really love the burst weaponry in Fortnite, and I will always take them sort of beginning to mid game because I love the fact that you can do a lot of damage with them, and you know, it definitely showed its benefits up until this point. But I think that was the right switch now to now have a blue assault rifle at this stage in the game. So at this point here, guys, 19 player count, I have 3 kills, so potential for a high kill game. I was definitely thinking that at this time, and at this point here I'm just trying to re-angle my stairs in the position of tilted, because that's one of the main points of the zone of which it's going to come in, so I'm expecting players to come out of there because Tilted Towers is always busy, so I'm expecting a lot of the players to come in this position. So I was actually hanging around here because I wanted fights. That was the sort of idea, and you know, just keep looking for people that might be coming. And as you can see, nothing's really occurring yet, so I check over the lake to make sure there's no one coming from there, and just being careful not to go to you know, just to sort of not be aware of my position. I don't want to get sniped here by peeking out too much. And again, right here, I think I'm hearing someone approaching the building, so I'm starting to look and see if I can hear where they are. Start to hear some ground footsteps. It's weird that I didn't see them sort of coming from Tilted immediately to get into the building, but they are now inside. And I think it's at this point here, you can see, if you look through, as you can see, I can hear him making his way through the building. And eventually I can see him through the my structure here. It's a drift skin. He's under my little wooden roof there on my staircase that I built. And I think that he might know that I'm here as well. That's why I'm just chilling and not moving any of my weapons at this point, because I was hoping he might smash that wall open, and then I'd have a free shot in with a pump. So that's why I was kind of chilling at this point. And realise eventually that the zone's coming in now where we have to go, and I decide I have to get this battle over with quickly. I want to take this guy out, to be honest. So I decide to edit to play with him a little bit, and at this point he makes a smart play to go underneath the part of the roof that I'm on, so basically I can't shoot him, so I decide to just make him think that I'm building something. And eventually I hear him doing this sort of mass escape out of the building, so I'm like, great, now I've got an easier time of it. Whip out the blue AR, and that's a pretty easy finish, and I think he thought he could get away there, but yeah, really nice play to keep the height in that situation. The player decided to hide. I think that's the kind of situation that I was talking about. I mentioned this in my last video. Obviously I did take a break, but I think the strongest aspect of my game is not so much, you know, I'm a good builder in Fortnite Battle Royale, but by no means, you know, one of the best builders on the game. Yeah, I've really encountered a lot of great builders whilst I've been playing, but I would say that the smarts is something that I'd like to do a lot better. In that situation, I think that was just generally a good strategy to sort of play in that way and think about what the player wanted to do, and that's the kind of thing that I like doing in gun games, first person or third. But yeah, definitely, that's the kind of thing that I do well, and you know, eventually by playing to my strengths, I do get the kill there, and just, you know, waiting for that guy to make a mistake. So that was a really nice bit of play, and at this point here, decide I'm going to get up on this hill just to get into the zone. It's quite a hilly zone, this one, so I was just taking care as I was moving in here. And at this point, I can't believe it at the time the gameplay. It's kind of a surreal moment. I was like, wait, there's a tower here? Sorry, I didn't notice this tower. And I was kind of shit scared when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, I've walked up all this way and I haven't been shot at. But I think the reason for that is because the tower was so high. And probably from this player's position, they were looking the other way. There is a player in this tower, I will tell you guys now. But I was so scared when I saw it. I was like, oh my god. And at this point here, I decided to get on top of it. And initially, when I was playing this, I thought, hang on a minute, there's no one at the top here. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get, you know, if there is someone here, because it's a weird place to build this. you know, considering that the zone was here, why would you build this earlier? So that made me think there's still someone here. So at this point here, I can see smash towards the floor, and I can see the guy with his map out. So I'm like, okay, there is someone here. So I'm taking a bit of care now to be careful of that, because obviously I want to try and kill this person, and eventually they make their way out of the tower. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be an interesting one. The thing I have got going for me is the fact that the pieces on the top are mine, but obviously he can edit the stuff that's below, so I'm being a bit careful. And at this point in the gameplay as well, the storm's coming into the new zone to you know, block off the old areas, so have to be careful here of not getting blamed as well. That's one thing I was thinking about at the time of this video. So whilst I'm moving around looking for him here, as you can see, the user bounce pad eventually shows himself. I'm being careful to not get sniped at the same time, and this guy starts to move on the build. So at this point here, he tries to get the height immediately. It was just a nice play from him. Eventually I decide to shoot it because I really don't want to play the height game. Trying to end this battle as quickly as I can, and luckily for me I was able to destroy it quite well, to the point where the guy falls down. And at this point here, he's just sort of looking to maybe escape or try a different angle on me to build up again. But eventually I hear his footsteps and hear him run away, and it's a perfect opportunity for me to finish him off. And that's a really nice play to net my 5th kill in that scenario. But again, really nice strategy. I didn't give up on my high ground. I waited for the player to make a mistake, to make them, you know, they would think that I'm not going to notice them running away, and then I just finish them off. And really nice to get a purple heavy here, and you know, really solid amount of material now based on the players that I've been killing, and really nice play to take into this next stage of the game. So really good plays. And at this point here, I'm being really careful now, because I feel like, you know, this is going to be a good gameplay now. So I'm trying to be careful as I go into this next approach, because it's an unusual circle actually. Some of Pleasant Park is in, plus the big hills ahead of us, so it's quite an unusual circle. And as you can see, there's a lot of builds on top of the mountain. And there's still 4 players left, including myself, so I'm against 3 others. So at this point I'm taking a lot of care. At this point here, I thought this was a shopping cart for a minute, just from the weird way that that thing was moving on my screen. But it was actually a player just crouching the whole time and looking to, you know, just, I don't know what he was doing, crouch into the zone. But really unusual. I'm not sure what he was intending there, but managed to get the kill pretty easily. And for some reason he, I don't know, just decided he was going to crouch in. And at this point here, so I've taken out one of the players, there's 2 left, and I see that one of these players is quite a good player, building on top of the hill. And at this point here, I'm just building a little tower inside the smaller part of the zone, the bit underneath, because usually in Fortnite Battle Royale the circles go to the central part of the current circle. So I'm just also trying to put some pressure on them up top, and you know, hopefully here in the final stages, you know, obviously it'd be good if they you know, sort of tire themselves out by fighting each other, and then I can just finish off the winner. So that was my idea here. But I thought at this point in the game, like, I have no bases up top, so if the circle does go up top after this, I won't have anything. So I decided to get up there pretty quick. And I can see that they're fighting on the left side of the hill, so this is why I'm going up on the right, because I want to assess the situation and see what the players are like, to be honest, in terms of skill and ability. Because I'll be honest with you guys now, the final player that I have a 1v1 with is a very accomplished player. And at this point in the gameplay, it was a Shadow Queen 667, and this player had 12 kills, so it was quite a strong opponent. Had they have killed me, they would have had, spoiler alert, they would have had 13, but they ended the game with 12, so there you go. So I won, in other words. But at this point here, I was trying to assess the situation and shooting the player. I took a bit of time there before I actually took shots at the players, because I wanted to kill the player that had the height, because in my opinion, the player that has the height in Fortnite Battle Royale is generally the stronger player overall based on building capabilities. And unfortunately for me, I ended up killing the weaker player. So that was really unfortunate. I wanted to kill the player with the grenade launcher and the height advantage, which is this player that I'm now trying to attack. But the guy that I just killed did do some damage onto him for me, so he's at this point he's trying to heal. And this is Shadow Queen 667 right here. At this point lands quite a nice shot on me with the gold heavy, which does a bit of damage. At this point here, just use the campfire to try and get that health back. And at this point here, just have to be careful because he's a very knowledgeable player. So whilst I'm healing with a campfire, I just put the stairs around me, on top of me, to give me an extra layer of protection. And at this point here, this is my flaw, but for some reason on the aggro I just can edit it easily. And that does put me into a state of a quandary for a moment. The guy starts to chase me and I lose my shields again for a time. But luckily for me, I built pretty well earlier to the point where I had high advantage, and then go for the shield heals once again. So as you can see, guys, still trying to apply the big pot, but at this point as well I'm trying to listen out for Shadow Queen 667 because I know that he or she is on the prowl, and have to be careful because he's a smart player. At this point here I'm fortunate to catch myself with a storm a little bit. It's just I saw him out in the open and wanted to get some scar shots onto him, and unfortunately for me they don't connect. And at this point here he hides behind the tree, and I am in the zone now, so I'm taking my time being cautious. And this tree actually has quite a lot of durability, so it's kind of annoying, and he's not going to move from that spot. If I had a rocket or something like that, it'd be golden. Unfortunately I don't, so I kind of just stay where I am. I don't want to extend my stairwell just yet because I feel like that could be a bold move. And at this point here he exposed himself for a moment, and that's the one moment that I needed to end his dreams of a 13 kill gameplay, because that's what he would have had if he killed me. And then do my own celebrations, and decide to see, I've got Swipe here, I haven't used that yet, so I decided to use that instead of Groove Jam, because we've seen a fair bit of Groove Jam. So there you go, swiping it up, and had a little fan club watching me towards the end of that one as well, so it's always nice to have witnesses to my win. But yeah, really nice gameplay, guys. Like I say, a really nice debut with Pandaenityzz, this Panda team leader, legendary skin, so very nice to get a solid gameplay for the channel. With all my skins I like to do that. Probably the next thing on the agenda for me is either Road Trip or Sledgehammer for a new gameplay, but I'm looking forward to doing them. Should be good as well. But yeah, this was Pandaenityzz, guys. We'll see a bit more of Pandaenityzz because there's a lot more other awesome stuff that I'd like to bring. But as for me, guys, this was SeReNiiTYzZ. I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, guys.